The forest of Vey'Lath had a reputation that preceded it: alive, dangerous, and merciless. Its towering black trees absorbed sunlight, leaving the ground in a perpetual twilight. Streams of phosphorescent mist wound between the trunks, obscuring movement and hiding predators that would strike without warning. Most explorers avoided it, but Lieutenant Kaden Rourke didn't have that luxury. He had been sent to locate a missing research team, and possibly recover their cargo, whatever it was. The distress signals had led him here, to the heart of the forest, where even his thermal scanners flickered and failed. The warnings didn't matter. Every mission had risks, and Kaden had learned early that hesitation in the unknown could be fatal. As he crept through the undergrowth, a flicker of motion caught his eye. Not large enough to be a tree, but not small enough to be an animal. He froze, gripping the plasma rifle tighter. That's when he saw her. A young alien girl, crouched behind a twisted root, eyes wide, trembling. Her species was unfamiliar to him: violet skin flecked with silver, slender limbs, and hair that shimmered like strands of light. She was alone, or at least appeared to be. Her fear was palpable, and something told him she had already seen the forest's dark side. Before he could speak, the ground trembled. A sound like grinding stone followed by a deep growl echoed through the forest. Kaden turned slowly, rifle raised, and saw it. The monster. It was massive, larger than any creature he'd ever encountered, with scaled limbs and eyes that glowed molten orange. Its jaws opened, revealing rows of serrated teeth, and it moved with a terrifying grace, each step leaving the earth cracked and scorched. The alien girl froze. Kaden froze. The forest itself seemed to hold its breath. The monster advanced, its gaze locking on Kaden first. But there was something strange. It didn't lunge. Instead, it stopped mid-step, tilting its massive head as though studying him. Kaden's pulse pounded in his ears, yet he kept his stance calm, his body tense but steady. Years of training taught him that fear could be read, and he would not give it away. Slowly, he lowered his rifle slightly, keeping his hands visible, speaking in measured tones. "You're not going to get her," he said, voice firm but quiet. "You're not going to get anyone." The monster's glowing eyes narrowed. It growled low in its throat, but its movement halted. Kaden could feel the intensity of its focus, like a predator scrutinizing prey. And yet, it hesitated. Then the unthinkable happened. The alien girl, seeing Kaden hold his ground, slowly mirrored his posture. She straightened, no longer cowering, her eyes wide but unwavering. Her body language, subtle but decisive, seemed to communicate something to the beast. The forest trembled with tension. The monster froze entirely. Kaden held his breath. And for the first time he realized, the alien girl wasn't just terrified. She was watching him, learning. The minutes stretched like hours. The monster's gaze flickered between Kaden and the girl. Every muscle in its massive frame tensed, as if preparing to strike, yet it did nothing. Kaden took another careful step forward. Slowly. No sudden movements. "Easy," he whispered. "We don't want to hurt you." The monster blinked, or at least its eyelids moved in a way that suggested comprehension. Its glowing eyes softened slightly, and the growl diminished. The alien girl took another step, then a second, and Kaden saw the shift. She wasn't copying him blindly. She was responding to his courage, his calmness, his intent. The forest seemed to exhale. The tension in the air lifted ever so slightly. Kaden spoke again, this time to both the girl and the beast. "You're safe. If you let us pass, nothing will happen to you." Then, as if on a silent command, the alien girl stepped fully forward. She held out her hands, palms open, a universal gesture of peace. The monster hesitated again, massive claws flexing, yet it didn't advance. It was a standoff that defied all natural laws, a predator frozen by courage and the simple purity of an act it could not comprehend. Kaden slowly knelt beside the girl, mirroring her gesture. "We mean no harm," he said softly. "We just want to leave." The monster's head tilted once more, then, with surprising swiftness, it stepped back, retreating into the shadows of the forest. Its glowing eyes lingered on them for one long moment, then it vanished completely, swallowed by the darkness. The alien girl let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Her body relaxed, trembling slightly, but no longer paralyzed. Kaden stood, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You see," he said, "courage, even in fear, works wonders." The girl nodded, her wide eyes shining with something like understanding. "You human brave," she whispered. Kaden smiled gently. "We all have to be sometimes." The forest, once threatening and alive with danger, seemed almost serene now. The alien girl took Kaden's hand, her small fingers brushing against his gloved palm. She guided him deeper into the forest, leading him past treacherous terrain that his scanners had failed to detect. Kaden realized that while he had protected her, she had guided him in turn. Together, they navigated the perilous paths toward safety. As they emerged from the forest into open plains, Kaden spotted the remains of the missing research team. Most perished, but some alive and injured. He signaled to them and called for evacuation. The alien girl stayed close, silent but alert. Finally, aboard the extraction shuttle, Kaden had a moment to breathe. He looked at the girl, noting the mix of awe and relief in her expression. "You were incredible," he said. "You faced your fear and helped stop that monster." The girl tilted her head, considering his words. Then, in a whisper that resonated through the translator, she said, "You saved me." "I learned." Kaden nodded. "We saved each other," he said. "Courage works best when it's shared." During the shuttle ride back to the human colony, the alien girl, whose name was finally revealed to be Lyra, observed everything with intensity. She studied Kaden, the humans around her, even the small gestures of care the medics showed to the injured researchers. Her species had never been exposed to this kind of deliberate, patient bravery. She realized that human courage wasn't just about fighting or dominance. It was about restraint, wisdom, and a willingness to act even when the odds seemed insurmountable. Kaden noticed her watching him, and he smiled. "You'll remember this, won't you?" he asked. Lyra nodded. "I will teach my people. Human bravery, not like fight. Kind, strong." For the first time, Kaden felt the weight of the moment. A single act of courage had done more than save a life. It had reshaped an understanding, a perspective, a culture. One human, one alien child, one moment in the forest had changed more than the immediate world. Weeks later, Kaden received a communication from Lyra's homeworld. She had returned safely, and her account of the encounter with the monster spread across her species. Reports described a human who stood firm, who faced the forest's deadliest predator, and who inspired the youngest of her people to understand bravery in a new light. Kaden read the message and smiled. It wasn't medals or praise or recognition that mattered. It was knowing that his actions, his willingness to face fear and protect a child, had rippled outward across an alien culture. Humanity had left a mark, not through domination, but through courage, restraint, and kindness. And somewhere in the galaxy, in a forest that was no longer just fear and shadows, a monster had stepped back, and a little alien girl had learned what bravery truly meant.